Worlds Infinitum.
The Chronicles of Talpia.
Season 1, Episode 1. Where are we? Horst Restios Galaxy, Galton Sector, Star System Arena, Galactic Calendar, Cycle 4653, third quarter. Another cycle. Another dull observation of this boring planet. My head is killing me. They really gotta make stronger drugs for cryostasis. Last time I was online was cycle 4563, sixth quarter. Over 100 cycles went by in a flash. The marvel of cryostasis technology. I'll better get to it. The planet below isn't going to observe itself, now is it? Oh, what have we got here? Planet designation is Talpia. Discovery calendar cycle is 4235, first quarter. Huh. Seems to be a habitable planet. Small planet. Roughly half the size of our home world. With a slightly stronger gravity. With a less oxygen-rich atmosphere. Planet itself is continental, with sparse bodies of land, consisting of 2 large landmasses. I would consider it to be continents. Also, many small islands hugging the closest landmass. The rest of the planet is open ocean. Instead of a deep blue, as most planets, the ocean is a sickly green on account of the large amount of algae floating above the surface. But the planet was initially teeming with life before a massive asteroid decimated most of the land-based species and fractured the continents. They split into 3 pieces, creating a third landmass to the south. At least that's what the initial surveyors detailed from their analysis of the planet. Not exactly an interesting read. But from orbit, the 3 landmasses resemble a smiley face with the curved lips below and the 2 continents above as misshapen eyes. I commented in my reports, actually, dubbing the celestial body the smiling planet, after the emoticon glyphs used by the United Earth Empire. Despite my misgivings about those insufferable imperialistic Homo sapiens, their culture is fascinating. They apparently invented this thing called social media, where they express their feelings through simplistic imagery. My race never took to such things. We always preferred data in its most efficient form. Statistics. Gotta love them. Them Earthies are an odd bunch. Now where was I? Oh yes, my backlog of reading material on the planet's early history. I've been putting this off for quite a while. Literally hundreds of cycles if we count time and cryosleep. Alright, let's look at this. Apparently there was an extinction level event after the asteroid hit. The planet and new life emerged from the destruction. These minor organisms developed over the millennia into what we have designated the Magentan species. The Magentan are bipedal, blue-skinned humanoids with bright red irises, long pointed ears, sharp jutting canines, and very short statures. Their predatory attributes developed after the initial few thousand cycles, when various life forms vied for survival and dominance. Typical scenario. The Magentan seem to have hunted their prey in packs, utilizing hit-and-run tactics to hobble their prey over time. Given their short statures, they relied on agile movements and swift attacks to deal with their opponents. Well, in the end, the Magentan emerged as the dominant species, capitalizing on their ability to adapt and change from each generation. Well, good for them. Not good for the others, of course. They seem to have a peculiar biology. related to their species' reproductive system. Species possess 2 arms with a pair of 3-fingered hands. Each digit can produce an umbilical cord, or something similar, as a means to reproduce. The Magentans seem to lack any discernible gender, apparently with each member possessing the same reproductive organs. Not that out of scope of expectation. I mean, I've met some strange alien races. There was one that had no limbs whatsoever, yet they moved via their own gravitational field. Watching these creatures float around was disconcerting for the first few cycles. It's a strange, wide galaxy. Now, back to the reproductive process of the Magentan. Riveting, isn't it? Alright, the act seems to consist of several members, of the species coming together to reproduce a single offspring. The norm is 3 to 5 participants. That's unique. Most species require 1 or 2 participants to produce offspring. I might have to take back my initial assumptions of the planet being dull. Each Magentan apparently produced their own, let's just call it umbilical cord, to contribute their DNA during the gestation process. An external womb is constructed between the group and is normally kept in humid and wet environments until the birth. Gestation normally takes 15 major cycles, roughly 15 months in Earth terms. I know we made a research tree with those pink-skinned humanoids, but they have to add that to the report. Goddamn Earthies. Stay on track. Over the course of the gestation, various participants contribute their DNA to ensure a greater chance for a successful birth, without genetic defects, of course. The Magentan, as a species, inherit the genetic traits of those that contribute to their conception, and tend to develop varying appearances and biological capabilities, with the bipedal form being the norm for most of their species. Rather odd race. Also, even more odd that I was even put on this job. I mean, I know it was a choice between prison or scientific reserve, and of course I chose scientific reserve because of my past shady dealings in the scientific community caused some issue with the higher-ups. Wait, did I just record? Yeah, whatever. They know already. Back on track. I should be starting initial observations of a small tribe on the southern landmass. Sector Unos. Sounds familiar. I think there was a language from the Earthies that they used. I met one Earthie at one point. They had a lot of languages for a singular species. My species only had one. Regardless. It's a small landmass, but has a larger population of the primitive creatures. They are still in the predatory stages of their development, and what predators they are. Alright, zoom in on Sector Unos, let's say Quadrant 213. See how the pack is doing. Looks like they have grown larger population-wise. There was a few hundred before my cryostasis, now there's a few thousand. Huh. That's odd. And they are cooperating. Developing, what is that, primitive barricades? Small camps with fire pits and some sort of tribal structure seems to be emerging. Hang on. Just zoom magnification quadrant 213.90. Unbelievable. These savages were hunting prey and eating them raw over 100 cycles ago. Now they are forming communal tribes and cooking food over the fire? I don't think many races even advance that fast. Would this quick advancement be a result of their species' ability to reproduce communally? perhaps because they can instinctually produce stronger and more adaptive offspring. With this in mind, they could be able to advance faster than any known species ever recorded in the galactic compendium of life forms. I would have to report this to the chain of command. Wait, would I really need to do that? The species has so much potential. It would be a waste for me to be replaced by some half-wit loyalist. I should buy my time. Until I can report, of course. I mean, this is a deep space mission. Subspace signal is weak out here. It would take a while for the higher-ups to even take note of what's happening. No. I must remain. Observe this. Especially can't let the Earthies try to take this opportunity. They aren't officially members of the Scientific Council, but they sure are throwing their weight around lately. Who knows what is in store for this new species?
The Chronicles of Talpia. To be continued. Thank you for listening.